Welcome to day 5.
Good morning. It is, we think, day 5 and a bit of a clue where we are this week. We're at Universal. No, we are at Kennedy Space Centre.
Oh, he's funny, isn't he?
I mean,
Oh, he's hilarious.
hilarious. I always got told I should be a stand-up comedian,
Don't start. Don't do it.
but I prefer sitting.
Oh,
But no, we are at Kennedy Space Centre today. I love this place. I'm a big space nerd, geek, loser, whatever you want to call me. I don't mind. I've been called worse by this one over here. But yeah,
I have not.
this is going to be a quality day. Even if you don't like space, it's incredible to look around. There's so much to look at, a lot of interactive stuff to do. And I mean, just look. You got the NASA ball there, big screen behind me already. If I just flip it around, you got all the space rockets over there. There's your big screen. And then you got a little snack over there as well. Well, I'm on one today. But yeah, gonna be a good day. And I've already lost my parents, where are they? Oh, they're over there. Let's go get in Kennedy Space Centre. This is the Rocket Garden. They're a little bit big, ain't they? These are all real rockets, I'll have you know.
Oh.
All ones that have actually been into space. I don't actually know that, I am actually just talking.
Let's leave that because, yeah.
I could be the best tour guide. These have all been into space. This one actually circumventulated the moon. That one over back there, it's actually been to Jupiter. Bet you never knew that.
Disclaimer, he's still lying.
These are proper cool. Absolutely amazing. The size of them as well. Oh, so this one actually been into space. It took images of the moon. I could do that for me. It reflects the sun quite well. The United States. Yeah. Look at the size of those. Yeah.
2x2.
Ed White performs America's first spacewalk. And if you didn't know, Michael Jackson performed America's first moonwalk. They didn't know that one.
Oh my gosh. I do apologise, people. It's on one tape.
Oh, there you go. Another one. Juno 2. March 4th, 1959. That one's got a shark face on it. Look. Shark face. Do your shark face. Oh, scary. Don't want to show that to a vlog.
It's more of a dinosaur face, if anything.
And look at that bad boy at the back there. That is a big old rocket. Beautiful weather today. Not a cloud in the sky. United States. Sputnik. NASA began test firing. Oh, this is Saturn 1. This is what they would have sat in to come back down to Earth. They're the seats. They all face upwards. Tiny little space. Here we go. The world famous NASA bus tour. I remember enjoying this last time. It was very fun. Get to see a lot behind the scenes stuff. So let's go see what we can find. A big old building, I suppose.
Yeah, probably.
We have pondered our place amongst the stars since the dawn of humankind. We've looked at the stars with wonder and amazement, their glow guiding our travel for centuries. The more we learn about our universe, the more questions we have.
I'm Emily Calandrelli, and today you'll be following me behind the gates on this exclusive bus tour of Kennedy Space Center. Our journey will take us past active facilities and end at the visitor complex's own Apollo Saturn V Center.
But before we begin this journey, just like every NASA mission, others may hear and enjoy the tour. No photography is permitted at the security gates, but there will be plenty of photo opportunities during the tour. And is the place where NASA completes the final assembly of its rockets before launch. The sheer scale of this building is hard to grasp, even when you're right next to it.
Do you ever feel really small when you think about space? What about when you're standing next to a skyscraper or a really big bridge? Well, I feel about as small as an ant right now. I'm standing inside the vehicle assembly building trying to grasp how large it really is in here. It has 4 bays. Each bay has 2 large horizontal doors below it and 7 smaller vertically opening doors above it, tall enough to fit the world's largest rocket through. And
Construction of the VAB required 65,000 cubic yards of concrete, 45,000 steel beams, 1 million steel bolts, amounting to almost 100,000 tons of
equipment. I'm standing next to the Crawler Transporter, the largest self-powered land vehicle in the world. It was originally built in 1965 for the Apollo program, and has since been updated to accommodate the space shuttle and now NASA's SLS rocket. Weighing in at 6 million pounds and capable of lift, spoke these ambitious words, the world watched as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first people to walk on the moon. The achievements of the men and women who worked on the space program in these early decades of NASA helped propel the technology we use every day. NASA and the thriving private space industry at Kennedy Space Center today are the living legacy of their story. As we arrive at the Apollo Saturn V Center to learn more about that historic era, get ready to step back into a time.
Rocket ships that took to the stars, and I wanted to be like them. They had courage, imagination, and no problem ever stood in their way for long. You know, in the end, when we actually did send men into space, it turned out that those were exactly the qualities it took. I'm John Hudson. This is Pad 39 of the Kennedy Space Center. I was a launch controller here when from this very spot, man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world. Back then, we were one of 2 superpowers that always seemed to be on the edge of a terrible war. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever man-made satellite into Earth orbit. They called it Sputnik, which means traveling companion. And in a world where peace hung in a delicate balance, it seemed to create a dangerous advantage. Every ham radio operator in America could hear it beeping. People were afraid. Were the Soviets looking down on us? Watching us? If they could make a satellite pass over our cities, could they do the same with a bomb? Our own space program kicked into high gear, and less than 2 months later, we were ready to launch our own satellite. It was being called the space race, and we were running a distant second. In 1961, we fell even further behind. Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man into space, circling the world in just 89 minutes. May 5th, 1961, things finally started going right. Astronaut Alan Shepard took his ship Freedom 7 6.5 miles into space. America had its first space hero. Just a few days later, our space program received a new challenge. But this one did not come from the Soviet Union. It came from our young president. In one inspiring moment, he changed the mission. From one based in fear of the present to one of hope for the future.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Bryce play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
We hadn't been more than 16 minutes into space, and now we were going to the moon. We would have to design a rocket the size of a 36-story office building, put it together with the precision of a microscope, and accelerate it to the speed of a bullet. Then we would have to guide it to a moving target 250,000 miles away. Many people thought it was an impossible dream, but 400,000 of us set about making that dream a reality. It would be the longest, most hazardous voyage that any man had dared to attempt. Astronauts Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee were on board Apollo 1 for a plugs-out test, a full-scale dress rehearsal for the actual launch. Suddenly it happened. There was a fire in the capsule. 3 men whose lives had been in our hands were lost.
Surely the opening vistas of space promise high cost and hardships, as well as high reward. But this country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them.
After Apollo 1, some thought we'd failed, and that the moon was out of our reach. But we owed it to those men, to learn from their sacrifice, and to carry on. We started taking the Apollo vehicle apart, piece by piece. Was the design flawed? Had safety been compromised? Tough questions. And we spent 1.5 years redesigning the spacecraft so that no astronaut's life would ever be at risk because we overlooked something, or because we could have done something better. We didn't send men into space again until Apollo 7 orbited the Earth, testing some of the new design. When everything worked perfectly, the decision was made. The next mission would travel to the moon. It was mankind's destiny to leave the shores of our planet behind and strike out across the vast ocean of space. In the great span of our history, now was the time that we could. Now was the time that we would. We stood on the eve of the longest, most dangerous journey that any man had ever undertaken. And it would be taken by Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Anders, the crew of Apollo 8. Through those doors, you'll find the firing room, launch control, just as it was on December 21st, 1968.
This is the firing room, launch control for the Apollo missions. This is not a mock-up. These are the very consoles we sat at when men first took off to fly to the moon. The tragedy of Apollo 1 had put us a year and a half behind. We were making up for it in one big leap, and we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before. It was a few days before Christmas 1968 when Apollo 8 sat on the pad. She was the first of a new kind, a moon rocket. This was the Phoenix, risen from the ashes of Apollo 1. The first Apollo crew did not die in vain. This was to be their testament. "36 stories high, she had been fully fueled throughout the night. The liquid oxygen in her tanks caused ice to form on the outside of the craft. The extreme temperature differences between the air and the sub-zero fuel caused the metal skin of the rocket to expand and contract. Everyone who was on the pad agreed. It was as though the rocket was alive, breathing, straining at the leash. Earlier in the morning, astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders had made their final preparations before taking that long ride out to the waiting spacecraft. The minimum safe distance from Saturn V at liftoff was 3 miles. The reason was simple. When fully fueled, the rocket contained the explosive power of an atomic bomb. As the clock counted down, the astronauts and all of us in launch control went through the pre-flight checks, our hands on the controls of the most powerful, most complex machine ever built. It had over 2 million separate systems, and to bring these men back alive, everything had to work perfectly. Each individual system had been tested, but what we didn't know was how they would perform when all 2 million began to work together. That moment would come when the countdown clock reached 0. If a maneuvering thruster failed, if communications broke down, if navigation was off by 1 degree, if any piece of the miles of wiring, circuits, relays, or valves was defective, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders would pay with their lives. As they sat, waiting for launch on that chill December morning, these 3 astronauts were back to what they had always been, test pilots. You are now in the final minutes before the launch of Apollo 8, right here where it actually happened. Mankind is about to leave his planet behind and journey to another. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
This is launch control, T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We have completed our communications checks with the Apollo 8 astronauts in the cabin, and the communications are go. During this period, once we do get the firing command, the various tanks within the 3 stages of the Saturn V launch vehicle begin to pressurize. We have firing command. The firing command is in. We are now on the automatic landing sequence, T-minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. Our status board indicates that all aspects are ready, instrument unit is ready, spacecraft ready, final check of the emergency detection system, that ready light also on. First stage preparations are completed.
All systems are A-OK.
Keep going. We're on. Ready to go to front bay. Stand by, water. Okay, you're on.
All systems go.
1 minute 45 seconds and counting. The first stage liquid oxygen tank has been pressurized and the pressure is still building up. Coming up in 90 seconds, mark T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The Apollo 8 crew standing by, spacecraft commander Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, Bill Anders. We now report that the liquid hydrogen tank in the third stage is pressurized, 1 minute 15 seconds. All third stage propellants pressurized at this time as we come up on a 60-second mark on a flight to the moon. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. The vehicle now is completely pressurized. We're coming up on a power transfer shortly. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still go at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. The ignition sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3,
Apollo 8 successfully orbited the moon, and the astronauts returned safely to the Earth. I know. I'm Jim Lovell, and I was one of the crew of this spacecraft, Apollo 8. We were the first men to see the surface of the moon from just a few miles away. But it was the hundreds of thousands of men and women who worked with our team, and the millions of people who supported the mission that really made it possible. That way, I guess, we all went to the moon. Now, on the other side of those doors, you'll find an actual sapphire moonlight. It's still the most powerful, the most complex machine ever built. And I guess it's the only one that can take you to another planet. I actually got to fly on a second flight to the moon called Apollo 13. But that's another story.
It's a pretty big rocket, ain't it?
Yeah.
That's just the back of it as well.
And across the street is where they have, well, there is a McDonald's, there is a Boeing building, an office building, right? Next to it is where they have all the, they like all the Mercedes cars.
Right, so we get a meal voucher with our trip to Kennedy. So I got a pretzel sandwich with some chips, and you've got a
French dip sandwich.
What's in the box?
I don't know. I will find out in a second.
With some
But I've got
chips,
loads of
and you
pickles.
just picked up loads of pickles, so that'll do ya. But there we go.
It's been your day here with us at the Kennedy Space Center, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Here we go. The big Atlantis building. Are you excited for this one?
Yep.
We just come back from the Saturn V building. Very impressive.
Lunch was beautiful.
Oh yeah, lunch. I feel so full up now. On the way back on the bus tour, we saw a bald eagle nest, which has been there for 20 years now. They come back every August and lay their eggs. They weren't there today, unfortunately, but we saw the nest. Yep. And now, Atlantis. Over there, so you can see our window, that is Blue Origin. That is Jeff Bezos' space company. And it's absolutely huge. And we are inside the Atlantis building now, ready to see it. Excited? Good.
Wait, so you want to reduce the CO2 buildup?
We need a better safety margin. The crew can tolerate a short-term increase, but...
Engineering? Morning, Betty. What, right now? Building 36?
I didn't even know there was a building 36. Must be important. Everyone's here. We got propulsion, aerothermal, flight dynamics.
Anyone know why we're here?
For this.
Good morning. We're going to create America's next spacecraft. It's going to launch like a rocket and land like an airplane, and it's going to be reusable.
Can't do that with a rocket.
It's not a rocket, it's a shuttle.
we're launching one spaceship on the back of an even bigger one.
What if we split the booster into its pieces? Rockets, fuel tank.
It's supposed to be reusable. How do we get all those parts home?
What if we just throw the fuel tank away?
Ablative heat shields are heavy, and they burn up on re-entry. We need a more usable solution. Silica foam tiles, thousands of them, fitted together in one lightweight, reusable heat shield.
How do you feel?
I'll let you know. When they come home.
The President's message said, "You go forward this morning on a daring enterprise, and you carry the hopes and prayers of all Americans with you." And astronaut John Young, the commander of the mission, replied, "That's a right fine speech. We sure appreciate it."
So if you've ever been to Kennedy Space Center before, you know we've just had the big reveal of the Atlantis. How was that?
That was amazing. That was actually brilliant. It's so good. And I brought my little Polaroid
She does,
camera.
and she's taking a little
It's
Polaroid.
just developing.
It's just developing. That looks like a good picture already. I think you've done well there.
Thank you.
But yeah, this is an actual Atlantis space shuttle which went into space multiple times. On the front of it you can see all scorch marks where it's been in and out of the atmosphere, through re-entry. Yeah, this has actually been to space and back multiple times. How cool is that?
Brilliant.
When I think of a spaceship or space rocket, this is the one I always think of. This was the one
You've got this on your shelf at home.
I have. I built this Lego. I have. But this is always one I think of because it was one that when I was really little they were still using. Whenever I used to come to Florida, this is the one that they had on all the keychains. They had everything regarding this. And to me, this is like the most iconic space shuttle you'd ever see. I know SpaceX is doing a lot of re-entry and building rockets that will last years, but this is the original one that done it, and it will always be special. Incredible, amazing. If you come to Florida and never been to Kennedy Space Center before, come, because it is an incredible place to come to, just to see the things they put on, the displays they have. It's a 10 out of 10 place to come to. Would you recommend it?
Absolutely, 100%.
And the ticket prices aren't too bad as well, so for a cheaper day in Florida,
We
100%
on
worth
attraction
it.
tickets and got a $15 voucher
Yep.
for food. So.
Yep, so I think for dinner or lunch, we only had to pay an extra $15 for 4 of us, so $15 for 4 meals, and they were filling as well. You can't beat it. It's definitely a cheaper day out. Although I have spent quite a lot of money in the shop, which we won't talk about till later, because we both spent quite a bit of money.
Both?
I spent more, granted, but you did spend money as well. Some. Not as much as me, but some. But yeah, we'll show you later what we bought. And yeah, we're gonna go walk around. I mean, just this building alone, there's loads of stuff to do. It goes all the way down there as well, so we can actually go downstairs. We're gonna go have a little explore, aren't we?
Yep.
Muggins over here has just dropped the camera on the floor.
I'm sorry, guys.
And now she feels really
I
bad.
know, I feel really horrible. I'm really sorry.
We've just come into the Gateway building, and there is more ships on the ceiling. And it looks like quite a few interactive bits you can go on around. Oh, that's for Lockheed. I don't think I've ever been in here. Obviously Ashley's never been in here either, so we'll see what we can find, shall we? So we've come out of the Gateway building already. There wasn't a lot to do in there, was there?
There's a few interactive things,
Yeah.
but nothing that we personally would do.
And there's like a ride in there which had a 20-minute wait, so...
Yeah, and you know it. It's going to make me feel sick because
Yeah.
it's probably a
Simulator. Yeah, I think
That's fine.
my parents are just going to Starbucks to get a drink, and then I think we might make our way back to the villa. I think we've done everything we want to do here. Unless you can think of anything else you want to do?
No, I mean, you've been here before, you know what you're looking at, so...
To be fair, a lot has changed since I come here last. Obviously 10 years ago.
They've got various different theatres and IMAXs that you can visit. There's totally a whole day thing if you wanted to make
Absolutely.
it that.
But a lot has changed in 10 years, and I expect if we leave it before we come here back again, then a lot more stuff would have changed, so...
Yeah. But there's plenty of things to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could spend all day here and probably not get anything done because there's so many shows and they're all about 40 minutes each, so that would take up a huge portion of the day. But I've had a very good day.
Oh yeah, it's been a brilliant day.
I've
And the
loved
weather
geeking out.
has turned out really nice as well.
Yeah, it's breezier.
Quite breezy, as you can probably tell.
Obviously we're right on the coast here. Obviously it's the Space Coast. It's where they do all the launches. So yeah, it's a little bit breezier, but it's a dangerous wind because that's when you get burned because you don't feel as hot.
Yeah.
I mean, still feel hot, still scalding out here.
Oh yeah, but it's not sticky.
No, but there's a nice breeze. But I think yeah, we'll head back to the villa now. Might have a little rest, maybe jump in the pool for a bit, and then we'll decide what to do later. We might go to Springs, we might go to the outlets.
I'm in search of a couple of things, so...
Yes, but we will decide, hopefully on the way back, or when we're back at the villa.
Yeah.
So stay tuned and you'll find out what we do, hopefully. We are back. We are in Disney Springs. We decided to come to the Springs instead of the outlets because basically we get more time here.
It's currently raining, so it's spitting. There's been some
Whoa.
lightning.
Whoa!
Massive lightning.
That's the biggest streak of lightning I've ever seen in my life.
Thunder now.
Ready?
Hold.
Probably a bit of thunder.
But Ben just put it on camera, so
I
we'll
did.
insert it now.
Now. I am the god of lightning. God of lightning. Whoa. And that was the clip.
And that was the clip.
I am officially the god of lightning. No one can take that away from me. But yeah, we're back in the Springs. My parents are here. They've gone off on their own adventures. Me and Ashley are now together. We are at the back. We are by Elder Sandwich. We are just gonna have a look around, basically, have a walk around. Hopefully the rain and weather doesn't get any worse. We are by the
Spice and Tea Exchange.
Spice and Tea Exchange, which Ashley is a huge fan of tea.
Tea bag.
Tea bags.
Tea bags.
So we are going to have a look in here now, and if we see anything or show you around a little bit more of the Springs, then be sure to tune in. And we're probably going to be quite late tonight. My parents have got a relaxed day tomorrow because we are actually off to Universal.
Yeah.
So we might be a bit later, show you the Springs at night, and it's going to be, hopefully, if the weather holds out, it'll be a really nice night. So join us, come along. Christmas shop, let's go to the Christmas shop and probably buy lots of stuff. Found anything you like?
I've seen that t-shirt, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice
Florida
t-shirt.
is my happy place, it's really
Florida is our happy place. Do you want to go to Coca-Cola? It's actually beautiful along here.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I wish you had places like this back home.
Yeah. Right, that's it now. So we're gonna sign off the vlog here. We just made it home. We've just been at Disney Springs. It's been very busy on a Friday night, but very good. Ben bought a couple of bits, didn't you?
Yep.
And I bought myself another refresher, which I've been loving at the moment. It's just been really, really nice and thirst quenching. But as you could probably already see, that before it was raining, so we didn't get too wet though.
No, we got quite lucky. There's a bit of like cover to stand up.
Yeah.
Running for a few shops.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was.
No,
it was okay. It was only a shower.
Yeah, it was a downpour for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's been on and off, like spitting throughout the night. Quite bad thunder and lightning. Yeah, it's been a fantastic day. Kennedy Space Centre this morning.
That was fantastic.
Again, if you come to Florida and have never been, go to it.
Definitely worth doing.
I know it's a little bit far out. It's about an hour and a half drive if you do drive yourself, but it's worth a journey. It's worth a trip, especially for the price you pay for tickets. It's one of the cheaper things you can do.
Yeah.
In this area, and especially if you like space or anything to do with anything like that, it's 100% worth it. You can easily make a full day's worth from the whole thing. We didn't do 2 or 3 buildings. If you do all the interactive bits, all the shows, easily can go all day there. So yeah, 100% worth going.
Yeah. But we are gonna go to bed now because we are tired.
We're both very tired, and we are getting up early tomorrow to go to Universal for the first time this trip. So stay tuned for next week.
Excited.
And you will see the first time at Universal for Ashley, and the first time at Universal for 10 years for me. So a lot has changed. I'm expecting big things. So yeah, leave a little like, subscribe to catch all the other videos that we will post. Leave a little comment down below. We'll always reply to the comments. So please do leave your feedback. Anything we can improve on, anything you like the most. Ask us a few questions if you want. We will always answer them. So yeah, make sure you leave it below. But tune in next week for Universal and Islands of Adventure. Fun times ahead.
Good night.
Good night.